Well, it's that time of the week. Time to do end of the week report. Let's go. And no,
What up? This out. This is what we got going.
Jack over here with me, right? Here goes our last load for the week. No, nothing special about it. We hook it on the axle in the front, right? But since we hook it on the axle, that means you don't have a way to stable. Like usually I like normally to stable the frame instead, hold it down from the frame. But like I said, there's no way for us to hook to the frame because everything is so close to it. But since that's the case, we went ahead and stabled the frame with it. So we hold down the frame in the front, and in the back, we're holding down the frame. So nothing special to it. We're pulling it that way and just stabilizing the front. So good thing I was able to get access to the frame. You really don't need to on this part, but I don't like it. Like when you're going down the road, as the road is twisting and all of that, you have a lot of movement up there. So that's why I stabilized the frame. So let's talk about the places we went this week. So we pick it up from last week's video, which is Amarillo, Texas. From Amarillo, Texas to Manchester, Tennessee. It's close to Amarillo, Texas. Not exactly Amarillo, Texas, but that's about 850 miles. And then from Manchester, Tennessee to Fort Payne, Alabama, 102 miles. And from Fort Payne, Alabama to Henniger, Alabama, did 12 miles. And then from Henniger, Alabama to Atlanta, Georgia, it's about 147 miles. From Atlanta to Atlanta, 19 miles. From Atlanta, Georgia to Houston, Texas. Now here that's 804 miles. So we ran a total of 1,934 miles. Loaded is 1,801 miles. Deadhead is 133 miles. I love that, man. I love seeing such a little deadhead. That's just that means like the market that we were at was very, very hot, right? So anyway, that's a gross of 5,650. I know it's not much, but there's explanation for it. And all miles, that's a total of $2.92 a mile, and loaded is $3.13 a mile. In this region where we're at, we're averaging about $3.30 a mile, or to the gallon. So that's not bad, considering we were coming from the West Coast. So, and our MPG is 6.8, and it's not bad considering we are coming from with the loaded, heavy loaded, and so 6.8. I'll take that. Our fuel usage is 284 gallons, and that's a total of $937, and that equates to 16%. 16% of the gross. Are you listening to me? 16% of the gross in fuel used. That's not bad. I love seeing that, man. Now let me explain the Alabama. Why is there like a 12-mile run there? Well, that was actually a deadhead. So we deadhead from Manchester, Tennessee to Fort Payne, Alabama to go pick up this load that was supposed to be going to Arkansas. But the load wasn't ready, so we stayed there for a couple hours. They gave us a total of 250, and then luckily was able to find a load that was going 137 miles for 1,100. But we took the long route, though. We took a little bit further into Alabama, and then pick up the 20, cross onto, what is that for something? Anyway, it's a U.S. highway for something. So we went and picked that up, and then somebody saw us actually in one of the truck stops over there. What, Florence? Was it that Georgia or Alabama? Anyway, somebody commented it down, and yes, that was me. That was definitely me. I was having issue with the DEF. Yes, we're going to talk about it. We got that unloaded, right, that same day. That was a Tuesday. We got it unloaded, and then we went into Petro in the Atlanta area. Did you know that you have to pay It's a paid parking. Everything in there is paid parking in the Atlanta Petro, and then or if you buy like $25 worth of merchandise. So we bought like straps, at the end of it. We ended up being there for like 3 days, man, at the Atlanta Petro. That's ridiculous. Okay, so story time. So we were having problem with the code is calling for DEF quality, okay? So automatically you would assume when you see a code like that, DEF quality, that means like, okay, I must have picked up a bad DEF somewhere. That is not necessarily the case, Those sensors, man, they could easily go bad on you. That's the problem. That's one of the main problems of this DEF thing, this DEF system, right? Is that there's so many doggone sensors, and that DEF quality doesn't necessarily mean that you picked up that bad DEF. That's why you see a lot of people are going like, oh man, just go get DEF from the gallon, right, by the gallon. Yeah, that you'll be wasting money, in my opinion, if you do that, because like the DEF that they got coming straight from the pump is good enough. Trust me, it is definitely good enough. The problem is a lot of times it's the stinking sensor. And that is exactly what it was in our case this time. It was the stinking sensor. So, a good source of my troubleshooting procedure is YouTube. Trust me, either YouTube or Google. Actually, Google. So I type everything on Google first, and then we go deeper into investigation. And what I found out is that like a lot of people are having problems with that depth quality sensor on this particular truck or particular, Kenworth or whatever, this system, right? So another thing I found out is that the heater. So the heater, there's a little heater coil that goes into the DEF tank, right? So that heater, it has like a, what do you call it? It has coolant going through there, and that's what heats that coil up, right? And that's what heats keep your DEF warm, especially during the winter. You need that. Now the problem is like it's not able to regulate it during hot times. So when it's hot, you're gonna run through those sensors more, because it's like but they did have some type of correction to it, so you have to replace the whole thing and it's able to regulate it. Anyway, that's another topic of discussion, but that's what's happening, is that the heat mainly is damaging the sensor because it's getting too hot inside. The DEF fluid is getting too hot inside the tank when it's hot, so it's not able to regulate it. That's the whole issue, why these quality sensors are going bad so fast. So back on to the quality sensor. So easy stuff to replace, right? All you gotta do is remove the sides and things like that, and then you gotta remove the lines, disconnect the lines, and just tilt the tank, and then pull out the sensor, and that's it, right? So easy to move. But you gotta remember, when you deal with MHC or anything to do with parts, yeah. So let's rewind back into Tuesday, right? So Tuesday evening, we unloaded that fuel truck, and then we went to the Atlanta Petro because it was closer. There's an MHC close by. So that was 1 a.m. Wednesday morning, right? So anyway, we wake up first thing in the morning and called in about that DEF quality sensor. And normally what I do is I give out my VIN number, like, right, the last 8 of the VIN. I give them the last 8 of the VIN, and then they look up what they need to look up. So they did that, and then he was like, okay, yeah, man, I don't have that on hand, right? And I'm gonna have it first thing in the morning. So I was like, okay, no problem, right? And my dumbass, I should have been looking into this, you know what I mean? Like, you should never really trust everything the dealer tells you, right? So I just went on about my business and spent a day over there in Atlanta and just freaking, like, you know what I mean, thinking that it can't be that hard, right? DEF quality sensor, which is highly sought after parts. That's why they probably didn't have it on hand. That's why I was like, okay, that's probably why, and you would think they would stock it, right? And then that's what happened. That was my thinking at the end of the day. On the next day, I was like, wait a minute, man. they had to be stocking this, right? But anyway, okay, I'm moving too fast. Okay, Thursday morning. So I called Thursday morning after we spent a whole day in Wednesday over there. I called Thursday morning and they were like, well, I messed up, man. I promise the part will be here tomorrow. Okay, now we're cutting in on a Friday. That's not acceptable. Okay, especially when you still got to put on the part. So I started looking. I'm like, okay, let me go call Peterbilt, right? Peterbilt is PACCAR, right? It should be a cross-reference number, right? So I called PACCAR, and then PACCAR was like, nah, man, we don't got that on hand. And then I was like, oh, you know what, man? Out of curiosity, let me get that part number. They gave me the part number, and then I actually look at the part itself. I was able to find the part number on the part itself, and then it matches what MHC gave me. I mean, what Peterbilt gave me. And then I called MHC, the south side of Atlanta, right? And then gave him that part number. He said, yeah, man, we got two of them. I was like, okay. So now I'm thinking like the guy, whoever called me or whoever spoke to, the guy over there in Atlanta, over there close by to the Petro, is that they look up the wrong part. Okay, so when I called them again and gave them the part number, guess what? Yes, they have it on hand. So Thursday we picked it up and then we got it installed, and then we got the truck ready and we were able to do a manual regen. Finally, it would not allow me to regen when the light was on without replacing that part. As soon as I replaced that part, it allowed me to regen, so that's a good sign. And then it regen and then cleared the codes, and then now we're good to go. Now we're here in Houston. Boy, I tell you, man, I just want to work, like drive, you know what I mean? Because without turning the wheels, we're not making no money, right? That's one of the main reasons why I didn't make no video at all last week, is because of that. You just get so unmotivated to do anything. You just want to get your truck and your equipment up, you know what I mean? You want to get it up and running, because I mean, like, it's pointless to be out here and not making any money. 5,600 gross is not acceptable, you know what I mean? On average, that's not acceptable at all, especially if I'm out here grinding it out, you know what I'm saying? So man, it's just, I know things come up, right? I know things break down, and I get it, you know what I mean? It's just that, boy, I tell you, I was looking really hard in deleting this truck too. It's like, okay, I pay somebody $3,000 to delete this damn truck just so we don't gotta worry about those damn sensors anymore, you know what I mean? So that was an option in my head, man. But now she's running fine, and then again, I know it's gonna come up again. So I know something is gonna come up again. So what do we do then? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we're here in Houston. The market here is still looking really good. So I'm happy with the rates that we're averaging with. You know what I mean? When we're out and we're fully working, the rates are amazing. So I just wish that we can continue going, you know what I mean? We can keep going, just so, like, you know what I mean? Like, we can just keep making money, It's just, that's the thing. It's like, it's just keep going. That's the problem. That's one of the main issue. Like, I get bogged down when the truck is down because of the fact that, like, we're supposed to be doggone working, right? And, I get it if you're down like a couple of days or stuff like that. That's one of the main reasons why I like working on my own truck, because like it's because you can find somebody local, right? But the problem is, like, nobody has their best interest but yourself, right? So a lot of times they're not gonna do it like they're not gonna take, you know what I mean? They're not gonna care for it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I take my time when I work on my truck. So, but I know I'm talking a lot again. Anyway, that's our week, man. It was not. I was not very motivated. I was not the most kind of, I didn't have the most, energetic energy. I'm still like, I gotta keep going, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, we just gotta get it done. But, the motivation factor was not there. That's probably why I didn't make no videos. Anyway, that's the end of the week. Hopefully this week is better. Let's go.